Hi, I'm Tor Nielsen from Enwise, and I'm going to be talking about the requirements to implement RTT in the core network and key features and standards for the next generation 112 and next generation 911. Who is Enwise? So we're specialists in RTT. Our customers are primarily government and telecom. We've been enabling calls from people who are deaf, deafblind, and hard of hearing using RTT since 2005. And then RTT to emergency services since 2014. We have global operations. And let's talk a little bit about RTT and real-time text, the basics. So RTT is a standardized text sent character by character during a phone call. You type H, H, E, E, L, L. So as you type a character, it appears in the other screen as you type it. And RTT can be available as a feature in the smartphones, Android and iOS. And it will be introduced in Europe in 2024-25. It's been available in the US since 2019. And RTT can also be available in apps as over-the-top app. So we have 112 apps, and we have apps for telecom relay services, both using RTT. Why RTT in the core network? RTT is implemented in the core network by connecting a RTT bridge to the voice platform. And by doing that, we achieve lots of advantages. Minimum impact to the current infrastructure, seamless integration with the voice platform, and then key functionality and required standards are easily implemented. And what are the key functionalities and standards? To think about it, we have to keep in mind the EU legislation, the European Electronic Communication Code and its delegated regulation, and the European Accessibility Act. Those two legislations require accessibility in the whole European Union. And when you think about the requirements and functionality, you should think about functional requirements, technical requirements, and standards. So what are the key functional requirements? RTT needs to be integrated into the same call flow as voice. That is also helps to use the same call flows, same processes that you have already established in the emergency services, so that RTT is dealt in the same way as voice calls. And the network should also be RTT conference aware, meaning that you can connect additional parties to the call. For instance, ambulance, fire brigade, nurse, medical doctor. So it's all people involved in the call, in the same call, using RTT and voice. Also, text presentation has to be T140, including backspacing. And that's the character by character. Remember, hello, H, E, L, L, O, and you can backspace everything. And call recording, and this is important when you think about the backspacing. So call recording needs to have the original text, including the backspaces, hello, and then you backspace to nothing, and what is presented. This is because in an emergency situation, maybe there's a kid typing something in their phone, and then a grown-up comes in, takes the phone, and backspaces all the text. And just say, everything is fine, don't worry, it was just gaming or whatever. So you need to have that recording. Something to keep in mind also is that audio streams can be mixed into one stream, very easy. But text cannot be mixed into a continuous stream without taking special consideration. Otherwise, text would be like this, it would be a big mess. So you have to think how to merge text in the conference. Technical requirements, we could make a very long list, but I'll talk about 3 of them. Scalability, so that if calls, not many calls in the beginning, but if larger portion of the population is using RTT to make emergency calls, then you have to be able to scale up. High availability, of course, emergency services needs to be highly available. And integration with well-defined IPs. So this way you can integrate the RTT bridge into the core network in a much easier way. So what are the important standards to follow with RTT? Protocol bridging. So there are two flavors of RTT that you have to be able to receive. One is using RFC 4103, and that originates in the iPhones and Androids in the smartphones. And then it's also from the over-the-top apps. Then we also have WebRTC that uses a data channel, and that's RFC 8865. WebSocket data channel, according to the MTEL document, which is the ETSI TS 103871. And then we're talking about a call center SIP environment, so we are following SIP according to RFC 3261. For the conference part and conference bridging, we have the RTP mixer for multi-party real-time text, and it's the RFC 9071. Conclusions. RTT should be implemented in the core network of the emergency services, and RTT Bridge enables seamless integration with the voice network, once again, so that you're using the same call flow, the same processes for RTT that you're already using for voice calls. And also it's important to have a checklist of the key features and standards that you require in your organization. I named a few of them, but there are more, and it's important to keep those in mind when you procure RTT. And above all, RTT is ready and it can be implemented now. So remembering that RTT allows for accessible emergency services, it saves lives because you're enabling people who are deaf, deafblind, and hard of hearing to make emergency calls wherever they are in the European Union. I'm Tor Nielsen. Thanks for your time.